Hello.
Look at that cool new intro we got. Who did that?
Yeah. I don't know, some guy named Corvo Suave. You
Wow,
know,
good job.
I didn't want to totally um just take apart the one we did from last year because I feel like in 2021 I'm trying to continue on with the good stuff that I learned this year. So I didn't
Oh,
want
I
to
like that.
redo
Yeah.
the whole thing. Yeah, that's kind of like I'm all about continuance this year. So
So
yeah,
so kind of salvaging what is good
yeah,
and casting out with what doesn't work anymore.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
like that, which is why I'm still here.
that's right.
Well, that was weird. We just got
That was a
done.
segue right there. And well, look who's here from Illinois.
Hi. Oh my goodness. It's our digital nomad friend. Hello.
Yes, but I saw how are you doing out there? I know it's cold, so I'm sure it's like I mean, I know he's from there, but it's I'm sure a difference from
Probably
here to
still an
there.
adjustment. I think he'd been in NorCal for a while.
Yeah,
So I imagine even if you're from like a cold climate, it's probably still weird to go back. So
yeah.
good to see you, Serge. Who else is here? Say hello to us so we know. Oh, Raquela. Uh-oh, she can't hear.
Uh-oh.
Huh. I wonder if can other people not hear.
Yeah, they can, I
Melissa
think.
is. Oh, okay. So Raquela, maybe volume. Maybe can someone else comment and just clarify that they can hear us, just to make sure it's not
Me.
us.
Yeah. Is it
Only because
all?
when I put my headphones in, it was a weird. I heard something strange too, but
Oh,
I
cuz
can
you clicked on. Oh, see?
hear. Okay, so you can hear now, or you're here
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We are
Got
all
it.
going to be here
See?
now. Okay, good.
See?
Yay! Hello, Raquela.
Yeah.
Hello, Serge. I'm glad you can hear. Okay, cool.
And look who's here too, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Happy 2021. Oh my goodness, it's a new year, a new
Yeah.
month, a new year. I did that thing today where, as I wrote in my journal, which I do every morning, I wrote 2020 and then I crossed it out and wrote, oops, 2021. And it reminded me of being in grade school because I remember that always happening because we had to write the date on everything,
Yeah.
really just in school, I guess, and how you do it wrong for like a month before you got it right. So, yeah. So, how
We
are you
have
feeling tonight? Everyone,
I'm
drop your
good.
feeling if you feel
Yeah.
like
That's what we're here
telling us.
for. Uli says happy day after tomorrow. LOL.
I'm loving
Uli
these goals.
Uli did a him and his wife did a Twitch show last night, and they DJ'd some pretty cool music last night. So
Oh,
it
nice.
was cool. I watched
Cool.
a little bit, but I was I got to I was stuck. Oh, both she's here and she's here. So welcome everybody. Welcome Chris, and happy day after. Oh, that's what Uli was referencing. Okay, so happy day after
Yeah.
yesterday. I'm getting a bit confused, but that's okay. Yeah.
Happy day after 2 days after last year's last day.
Yeah.
What?
And we'd like to thank you for everyone for coming out tonight. And it is it's a good start for what we're going to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh new
What'd you
year.
do last night, my dear?
Oh my goodness, it was crazy. I took a shower and I put on my pajamas and then I got a big old bottle of sparkling apple cider and
Nice.
yeah, I was reading until like 11:50. Michael was doing his thing and then we clinked our glasses and we drank out of we have no glasses in this house apparently, so we drank out of salsa jars, which I felt like needed to be
Awesome.
documented. So I took a picture of it. But yeah, that's how we rang in the new year. And oh my goodness, there was some insane fireworks in my neighborhood.
Yeah, there
I
was,
just
huh?
kept looking at the baby monitor, expecting my baby, well, she's not really a baby anymore, but my toddler to wake up, and she didn't.
Yeah, well, that's a
So
good
what did you
sleeper.
do last night?
Last night I got into this. I was looking at my DNA again. So for some reason, I
Hmm.
raised up to 55.8 indigenous. So
Interesting how it changes, right?
yeah, and Serge, if you're out there, I was looking for in the land of Zacatecas, which I was looking for my native blood. So and it was interesting because I had a family tree that I had, but nothing on my mom's side, just my grandparents. So I just looked around, found out why I was, what do you call it, always weary of the Aztecs, right? Yeah. So
Did you look at some of the like historical?
yeah,
I know
yeah,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, where we're from, the Chichimeca was like a tribe of a group of tribes that fought off the Spanish, and they also fought off the Aztecs and all this stuff. And so when it came down to it at the end, they were one of the last resistance in the Spanish War kind of deal. So they came up with, I think it was like, I mean, there's so different ones, but it was like 400 Spanish and then 40 indigenous soldiers, tribes against their own tribes. So the Aztec came and, kind of start taking out our people. So
Yeah.
yes.
So
So
you were reading about this last night. Was there any significance to it being the New Year's Eve, or was it just that like that's something you like to do anyway?
No, it just happened. It was like, and then I got obsessed like I always do. So I'm like looking and stuff like that. So yeah. And so someone did call you out at a salsa jar. See, I was gonna say something, but I was like, I don't even know what a salsa jar is. Sorry. So I know. I don't want to get all Mexican on you, but
as I think back to that comment, I'm guessing you don't eat salsa out of jars like I do.
No, but
you probably. Well, you know what? I'm not going to assume anything, but we have bought Tostito salsa. I'm going to blame that on Michael because he loves chips and salsa.
See, look what Serge said.
If you can't salsa dance, drink salsa from jars. Thank you, Serge. See, exactly. So Raquel said you're so patient to look for that information, Ruben.
Yeah, and I and obsessive, right? I was,
It's a rabbit hole, right? When you start to look at not just your family story, but then the historical context next to it. Because I think that's what's kind of neat about these sites is that they'll say your great-great-grandfather, was in this place at this time. This is what was happening. And I'm guessing that might be part of where you saw some of the horrific colonization and
oh, they were fighting. No, they fought against them. It was a good fight though, at least. So
yeah. So if anybody wants to share what they did last night, whether it was
look, you're getting backup right here.
I have Facebook content for my eggs.
All right.
So I feel kind of better because I feel like Raquel could also have like genuine salsa, but she also buys Facebook content. So I feel a little bit.
It's what you feel, right? It's Feelings Friday, so bring them out. Everybody, bring out your salsa jars, whatever you bring out. Yeah,
your honest salsa feeling.
That's right. So yeah. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that and creating some stuff that I kind of had an opening of creation yesterday and this morning. So I thought on it and came back and I really am excited for what's coming up too.
When you say opening of creation, do you mean like a creative breakthrough?
Yes. Thank you for translating.
I thought that's what you meant, but I was like, I don't know if that's what you meant. So, okay, that's cool. What a nice time to have that at the end of one year and the birth of a new year.
And like I said, being sick, I was sick from Christmas, through Christmas for this whole week. And yesterday was the first time I feel good. So it's kind of like it's kind of like a I was talking about going through a spiritual sickness too as I was sick and thinking about all this stuff, and I think a lot of it just opened up to to a point where I was just not feeling good and had all kinds of thoughts and look who's here.
Oh my goodness, we haven't seen you for so long. It's our old buddy.
I know, Leela. Yes.
Hey, Leela. I was just wearing one of your masks today. I'm thinking of you.
See?
It was one I had forgotten I had. It was like buried in the diaper bag. But we've all been there at that moment when you have to go in place and you're like, where's a mask? Ah!
You're lucky you didn't grab a diaper and put it on your face.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. People stay away from you. So
I'll just look crazy.
Yeah.
So anybody watching, if you want to share what you did last night, and or we're not there yet. Never mind. Yeah. We don't want to hear about your feelings.
No, we're going to bring them out. Hey, did you notice that StreamYard has a new drop down, the little, when I bring up the, watch, see? When I bring up the comments now.
Oh, I see. So it's
they're nice and round. Yeah, they look more professional now. So you look, and they
I
look
like
more animated.
it.
Yeah.
So fancy.
It's the little things. Uh-oh, here you go.
So glad you're in the midst of creation, Ruben.
Yes. So, Serge, we got to look at the Zacatecanos, and then my family is from Setucacan, so we need to find out where you guys are from too. So, Serge, put it down. What part of Zacatecas I need to know, because it will help me in finding my tribe.
Yes.
Ooh, fancy. Yeah, see, let's fancy. So, anyway, why don't we go to a song, come back, and everybody, please put down your feelings and everything. We have a good show tonight, and welcome, Melissa. She'll be here once a month or
Yeah,
whenever. Yes. So this is soak it up, soak it up.
please.
And well, before I ask you before we go too, how's your book doing?
It's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I think that it definitely found a home in the world, and I continue to kind of have this like back and forth between asking for guidance, like what am I supposed to do next with this, and also just following like logical sense, like here's how to get a book. But yeah, it's doing all right. So, and I'm happy to read a couple pages. You mentioned that we didn't talk about it. We could always do it next time, but
No, we can do
yeah.
it today. I think it'd
Okay.
be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to our favorite industrial goth dance and some good music going on here. So this song it's called Addiction.
Mm,
And it's by Mind Me featuring Jalen Hyde. So
nice.
that
All right.
sounds more like the
One,
best
two,
one.
three, I don't know who else to be. 4, 5, 6, like they say I can't be fixed. 1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip. 1, 2, 3, I don't know who else to be. 4, 5, 6, like they say I can't be fixed.
I think this is you, Melissa.
1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4,
I
5, 6,
belong.
don't let it slip.
Not simple.
I don't have any favorite.
This is in Mexico.
Just give me any kind. Even if it hurts a bit, I think I will be fine. 24/7, all I do is procrastinate. My lesson. 24/7, all I do is procrastinate. Perfection.
En la ciudad de México. Los Cabos.
Perfection.
Me too. Takes me back. That's how I travel now, through the skies.
You're like you're in Japan and we're gonna do Ruben camera.
4, 5, 6, like they say I can't be fixed. 1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip. Some sort of an addiction. They all live a prediction.
Did it.
I think it's just some fiction.
There you go.
Did I have an addiction?
I like how some of them almost look like they're in slow motion sometimes. That's a skill right there.
That guy right there. Yes.
Gas mask is doing that.
Did I
All
that's
those
how-
people who have the gas mask is for style, and like a jump on the virus.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I thought this was New York pretty good. So.
Country music.
It's just a year wetter.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, Amber. Break it down. Lily, they're listening to John Denver. Your favorite.
country road takes me home. Speaking of John Denver, I don't know where Zara is, but she toured with John Denver. I don't know if you saw that as a kid.
She toured with John Denver?
Yeah, like her mom was a dancer, and she put up a picture of them on tour with John Denver, and I was like, oh my gosh, how cool is that?
John Denver was cool. I listen to this song all the time, even though when I'm in the car, especially when no
Do
one's
you ever
around.
have the windows down and the song really high?
No, I'm sorry.
You don't want people. Yeah, there's
No.
like songs you play with the windows up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs I should not be caught listening to, but I do.
So let me go to Serge real quick. I have roots in Arroyo Seco y Tempoteco, Zacatecas, and I think we're close. So I've been looking at the map. So, anyways, we'll go on that journey sometime, Serge. Sorry. Oh.
Hey, he could be your
Um,
cousin. You have to call him by the right
we
name.
probably are. But, there is a Revelis on my grandma's last name is Revelis on my mom's side, and my dad's name's Revelis. So I was like, oh shit, we're getting all English and shit on us. But
Oh,
they're not
geez.
related.
Yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense, Ruben, actually.
Yeah, they're not related. So
You're like, my mom and my dad were cousins, but they're not related.
yeah. So, anyways, so that's
That was that
yeah.
was a fun little detour, and that was a
Yes.
cool video. I love how you find these things I would never normally see and allow me to see them.
Thank you. And I have a couple. Well, one from Emily. So from I think it's 3 years ago, but yeah, we'll play that in a little bit. So it's only a minute long, but
Okay.
I was hoping she'd be on there because I was like, what is this? But it's really cool. So, and
Did
Emily is
you
our
see that she was like trying to stay up late to watch us last night?
yesterday. Yeah.
I
Emily
saw
is
that.
our
And I was like,
friend and our friend from the UK, right?
yeah,
Or your
yeah.
friend. Sorry.
She's your friend
I
too.
claimed her too. I know, but I feel bad.
Just like Serge and Chris and Raquella and all of our wonderful friends who come back are my friends now
We
too.
share friends. Yes. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So, we're gonna go to the back to the segment of letting our feelings out, and everybody out there who has them. This is a great spot for it, and I take my breath and relax. Now, see, I'm flying through the air.
Oh,
Yes.
whoa.
So this segment is we've had this before, and what it is. So bring out your feelings. That's all I to say. Ready?
Welcome to the dog park for feelings.
So the dog park for feelings is bring all of them out. I don't know if you notice that these all feelings, anxiety, happiness, everything can come out and play. Remember, you said they can smell their butts.
Yes, butt sniffing.
Yeah, they can smell their butts and get along, and all this other great stuff. So, and I don't know if you noticed, but I threw a little kitty in there just to,
I didn't notice
yeah,
that.
just to amp it
Oh,
up.
that poor kitty must be terrified in the dog park.
No, that cat was a little sinister little kitty. Like he was
Like
like,
bullying
I am.
everyone.
Yeah, he's like, I am going to. It's like when a dog is barking at a squirrel, right? And the squirrel's outside of the
And they're like,
window. Yes.
I'm
So
not afraid of you.
yeah,
Oh, very happy to have that friendship with Melissa. She's been a blessing. Thank you, Raquella. I feel the exact same way about you. So I'm
there you
grateful to
go.
stolen slash inherited slash sharing with your friends. And I
So
love the dog park analogy so much because it does remind me of like there's so many different kinds of dogs in the park and none of them are wrong, right? Like none of
yeah,
them belong like, oh, well, okay. The really aggressive dogs, I think, piss everyone off because you don't want your dog to get hurt. But, taking it back from our metaphor, it's sort of just saying like all of the feelings are allowed, whether you feel wonderful tonight or
see, you're right.
terrible tonight.
There's a couple of sad dogs right there. There's one anxious dog.
I don't
There's a
see a kitty.
he's right in the middle right there.
Oh, I see it now. It looks
He's
like it's a
kind of
part of that other dog.
yeah. So that's kind of like the yeah. And then the guy in the right hand corner, or maybe left hand corner, is kind of sad looking, little Chihuahua,
Oh,
anxious. Yeah.
yeah.
So the guy in the back's like the wallflower of everybody. There's an anxious dog right there, the happy dog, and that comes up to our other question of
Choose a dog, any dog.
yeah, that's right, and the toxic positive dog, right? Toxic positivity.
Mm. Well,
Yes.
first, we would love to know how you're feeling. If anybody wants to drop a feeling, whether it's wonderful, and if you want to justify it, as in saying, I feel great because, today I had my favorite thing for dinner, or I feel terrible because my best friend are fighting. If you feel like sharing where you're at, we would love to hear it. And nothing is wrong, as in no feelings are wrong.
Yeah.
But
So let me see. We have is Chris? Yes, Chris is at probably. She is at the. She's the new dog. So
I
and
realized her dog is named after Noam Chomsky, and I thought that was amazing.
Mia.
Who's Yeah, Mia Chomsky or is it Noam? There's some part of his name that's in her dog's name, which I just thought was so funny. Oh, Boo Boo. So Boo Boo is like I want to say not Dachshund because he's not Dachshund is a wiener dog, right?
Yeah.
But Boo Boo is like a long. I don't know, Raquel. Can you describe Boo Boo? It's her dog, but Anyway, well, if no one is dropping feelings, maybe we should go to our little visual map of ways to comfort someone who might be struggling, because we found this last week. I think it was NPR that shared it, and it was around, obviously, as always, COVID has kind of amplified things that are already present, which is suffering or vision or inequity. And inevitably, all of us usually know someone who's not doing well. And maybe that person's reaching out to us or opening up to us. And really, I feel like, Ruben and I were talking about this. Most of you guys who pop into our tour, pretty in tune emotional intelligence wise. So you probably wouldn't say most of these things. But if anything, it's not that I say the stuff on this graph. It's more that it's nice to have ideas for what you can say when someone is struggling.
So should I bring it up?
Yeah. Like,
Sorry.
again, I can't see if people are commenting, but I'm assuming if they must not be if you're not putting it on the screen.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm wondering why no one's commenting about my selfie light that I have. I'm
Oh, that's right.
Yes. The new ring light there, so it makes me glow. Right?
You have
But
to
anyways, yeah.
tell Ruben how great he looks, how glowing.
Fab,
he looks.
yes.
Oh,
That is real. That's real.
Yeah, Bears football team. I love how you're speaking in emojis tonight, which I don't think is unusual, but it's still nice. I am so nervous. I just want to hold space for these nerves and these football teams. Faux real, all Chicago is nervous. Actually, I'm so checked out of sports, but I do believe we are getting down to playoffs now, right? So that's probably why the games are like way more, like clenching for people.
I'm glowing as always. Thank you. There, finally, after all this time.
This is called like fishing, and then you like reel in a compliment, and you're like, "Oh, I look great."
Look, first thing I noticed, I loved it. Right?
Oh, good job, Adrian.
See, Uli, beautiful skin. Thank you, Uli. Uli's my co-host, or Uli is actually the producer of this show. It's called "Welcome to Your Brain." Welcome to my brain, and we do it every Tuesday. Every Wednesday at 9:00 on Twitch. Yes, on Twitch. Okay. So just come check it out. It's weird. It's trippy. It's awesome. It's fun. It's really a creative release for me too. It's another one too. So it's all animated too. So you don't get to see this beautiful skin. But
well, then I'm not tuning in.
But my animation one has a lot of beautiful skin. So it's like, So come watch it.
What's cool about this virtual world. You can create an avatar for yourself that like doesn't have jowls or whatever it is.
See stars, And Adrian, give me a call sometime. I want to. Adrian has a store in Placerville. She has a store that she runs right now too.
What kind of
as much as I can. What kind of store is it? It's a really pretty store. I mean, I can't describe it, but it has a lot of really cool like people that makers stuff. Right.
Oh,
so candles, and I know she makes stuff too, and she has. It's on Main Street in Placerville.
I've probably been there because that's totally a place Michael and I will go just to kind of get out of town.
Yeah,
not for a while.
Yeah,
but...
Adrian, can you type in the name of the store and maybe the address too? Because I think people, I think they can allow some people in right
now.
I think so. I think they can allow some people in there right now too. I think most stores are, like percentage wise. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
So thanks for holding. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for holding space for all of Chicagoland. Melissa, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Is to hold space for games I have no vested interest in, but I care about you all who care about the game.
Call her up. You guys are going to lose, so call her up. So novelties, and she also I think she has a Zotar there too.
Ooh, the fortune teller from Big.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's cool.
So Panic and Swoon. Yeah.
Oh, what a fun name.
Yeah, it's an awesome store.
So Adrian, we're assuming you're open, but if you are indeed open, then we'll just say everybody go check out Panic and Swoon and support a small local business, because that sounds like it's got some pretty awesome, I want to say knickknacks, which sounds cheap, which they're not necessarily cheap, but I love stores like that have all novelties. That's the word I was looking for.
And curiosities.
Ooh.
And also she's a good singer and piano player, by the way, too. Singer-songwriter. Wow. Yeah. So I want to have Adrian on the show sometime too. And then does she have an Etsy? I don't know if she has an Etsy.
Well, that's a
Adrian,
good
do you have an
question,
Etsy?
Raquel, because that would
Yeah.
make her stuff accessible who can't maybe get to Placerville or,
Yeah.
yeah.
So back to our topic of the day, which is could be annoying sometimes, right? Depending how you go.
What is our topic of the day?
We never got to it.
No. Well, we didn't show that meat, so I don't think that's the topic of the day. This is
No topic.
simply, this is just a little cheat sheet that is an idea for when someone you know is struggling, someone you care about is struggling, what you can say. And even someone like me, and I'm going to give myself some credit right now, I am pretty in tune with how to be there for people because I've worked really hard at it. It didn't necessarily come naturally, but I say this saying, I think I'm good at this and I struggle with this. So I feel like having words when someone is hurting is helpful for all of us. So things like describe what you're feeling. I'm listening. I'm not even going to go into the toxic positivity. There's just an obvious, here's what not to say. And then here's what to say.
Pretty
I
much,
just
right?
think the things to say are so valid. I see that you're really stressed. Is there anything I can do? I think that's an awesome question. Failure is a part of growth and success. This is really hard. I'm thinking of you. I'm here for you through both good and bad. Everyone's stories, abilities, limitations are different, and that's okay. Suffering is part of life. You are not alone. Gosh, I like that because delete negativity, that does come up in different words in a lot of circles, especially in the like wellness, yoga, like love and light land.
The yoga land.
Yeah. And you know what? Like we have to just acknowledge it and let it be. Suffering is part of life. You are not alone. I see you. I'm here for you. Sometimes we can draw the short straw in life. How can I support you during this hard time? That sucks. I'm sorry you're going through this. I love because they are such great examples of, gosh, I don't know what to say. And I don't know about you guys, but I think especially when someone has just experienced a really big loss, it can be really tempting to either reach out once and then not know what to say again and not want to bother them or like maybe not want to bring it up. And they're still hurting, whether we do or not, right? Or, and again, I don't think this is any of us, but I know the tendency can be to just not reach out at all because you don't know what to say. And these just give us some ideas. My friend, I'll just share, it's Josie, who's been on our show. She will say something like, how are you doing, all things considered right now? And just adding that all things considered is sort of acknowledging, like, I know things are really hard, but how are you doing? And yeah, these just kind of give us some tools. So awesome.
Yeah, the toxic positivity reminds me of word art. Stuff that people, you see at like an old thrift store.
Word art?
Yeah, where it's like, be happy, on a piece of wood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a big bumper sticker. Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah. And, so. But anyways, that's, give me 1 second here to come back. Anybody have any thoughts about, especially about toxic positivity, because I think people really just want you, sometimes people just want you to listen to them, and I think that's one of the arts that we've lost is the art of listening and not having, not everybody wants advice all the time. And I think most people don't want advice because it's hard to give advice, right?
Yeah.
Especially, when someone loses somebody, I always try to find something to say, but I don't know anything, it's hard to, to figure something out too. So, whoops.
Yeah. And something else I'll acknowledge too is again, I feel like pretty good at this stuff because I try to be pretty aware and like think, okay, well, how have I felt? Someone's tried to fix something for me or just ignored our friendship because they're so uncomfortable with my grief or whatever. But the other day I found myself, a friend is going through a really hard time. And I found, this is something I don't know if you guys are experiencing too, but I feel like partly because of COVID, if you like have been pretty isolated, and I have, a phone call, I see clients, but I don't consider that like keeping my social skills sharp. It's different coaching people. But the short version is that I feel like a lot of us are getting kind of socially awkward because we don't have action as we normally do with our friends. So anyway, I found myself kind of falling into old habits where I was finding myself like trying to look for the bright spots. And I wasn't all saying like, oh, there's no, don't worry, be happy. But I think I'm adding to that, that if you're struggling socially right now, I think part of it is because of our isolation, and you don't use it, you lose it. It definitely. Are you experiencing that at all, Ruben?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've just I've just adapted. I get a little bit social awkward just talking to people now, like because of 6 feet away and the surge and all that stuff. Too, that it's kind of awkward to talk to people too, right? You're like you have to stay there. Thank you very much. You don't get too close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you try to and
Like
Adrian,
backing away from people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about what happens when it's kind of over, how long it's going to take us to get back to hugging someone or getting to one. I mean, at that point too, but it is a little strange talking to people because now the virtual world has become the real world, and the real world has become the virtual world because I haven't seen anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, and unfortunately we all, I mean, if you look on Facebook and we've had a lot of people that passed away this past year, that friends of friends, and I mean, I don't remember having to say I'm sorry, or my love goes out to you, to so many people than this year itself.
Mm-hmm.
With all this, it's like I said, I had my nephew who took his life, my friend who I think she did too, and a couple other friends, and not just that, but of COVID too. There's so many different things that. So it was very hard for me to to find the words to say, to type them in, because I'm more of a person that likes to talk to people, but I don't really know these people. So like their cousins or I mean, I don't know what to say or what to do. So it was trying to find the words and typing in the words too.
Mm-hmm.
So but I do that. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad that we had that graphic. And
hello, Teresa. Let me get before the quick. I just want to get back to Adrian's Instagram. So.
Okay. Oh, nice. My Instagram is my Etsy. I saw from stories and DMs. So Raquel, I think do you have Instagram? If Raquel is watching,
yeah,
then
she does.
You could find her on Instagram. Did she share her handle?
No, Adrian. Yeah, put your candle in.
Adrian.
Yeah. So when we go to the topic of are you ready to go back to the topic now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to play something real quick. This is from Emily. I don't know if she's here to watch us tonight or in the morning.
She would have said something already.
She did. She probably did. But still, this is I love her humor. It's quirky. It's strange, and that's what I love about it. I'm a fan of I'm a fan of English humor. There's I'm a fan of Japanese animation and Japanese stories and the way they do filming and the crazy, just the stuff that they do. I think the Japanese animation is like a real art form that people really need to look at. And I'm into Korean, like scary movies, and they're really good. I mean, the editing is awesome. So
I love that you're like, I love English humor, but I also love Japan.
I mean,
Yugoslavia.
Well, I love foreign. I love everything foreign. It's really the way I'm taking my my travels right now is through foreign
I like
series. Yeah, series. There's one Japanese series. It's called Midnight Diner. It's really cool. It's about a guy who owns a restaurant. He opens from 12 to 3, and so this stories of Japan. And it's really slow, and there's always little stories. And at the very end, he's making food, and at the very end, they're like, cast will sound like, hello, goodbye. It's just, it's cute, and it's, the stories are really good too. They're really all about redemption all the time.
Aww.
So yeah, and I also noticed that I don't watch my phone as much if I'm watching a foreign film because I have to watch all the the subtitles.
Oh yeah, it's like eating with your left hand. You have to be more conscious.
Yeah, so I'm like, you can't do that. I'm like, what did I miss? Why are they laughing? So
rewind it.
So let me
check it out. I'd love to see Emily in action. Yeah, she is amazing. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, she has a podcast called Why This Film. I think you can follow her at Why This Film on Instagram, and she probably doesn't mind if you follow her personal account, but I'm not positive about that. So
yes, stalker. She likes stalkers.
Yeah.
American Stalkers.
For that.
That's my new play that I'm doing, American Stalker.
Oh gosh, you have a lot.
It's a comedy though.
Good.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, here it goes. So Yeah, it is. Digirap, I think, is from the I think it's a video game. So
Oh, okay. Nice.
yeah, that's what makes it a little bit more funny too. So yeah,
You know what? It looks really interesting.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so cool. Ruben, where did you find that?
It's a cleanser.
It totally is. I like to picture the filming of this and the production. And the neighbors looking out the window like, what are they doing?
Probably what the hell's going on.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what that was, but I love that all the stuffed animals had tinfoil on their hats, on their heads.
Well, I was hoping she'd be there because I'm like, because that was like 3 years ago. She'd probably, why are you playing that now?
She's probably gonna be like, oh my God, why'd you dig this up? But
I love it.
I love it. It's
well,
awesome.
I'm hoping, maybe because you're here, that once a month, that maybe she'll do a little thing once a month here too. Like maybe she'll, produce a little weird English thing.
Oh.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we could probably ask her to. I mean, if nothing else, she makes so much content. I feel like we could find something that she's created recently.
And tomorrow I'm going to post her YouTube page and everybody, so it would be great if you subscribe to her because she needs subscriptions, and I'll put that out there too. So,
nice.
Yeah. So,
Ruben is Mr. Worldwide, like Pitbull.
I used to have a Pitbull.
What does Dale mean? Is that like Chippendale?
I don't know.
Serge, you're too cool for us. We don't know all of your acronyms or your.
Yeah, Serge is pretty. Yeah, he is pretty cool.
He's pretty hip. He's always throwing stuff out, and I'm like, wait, let me Google this before I totally respond wrongly.
Yeah, Serge, where did I ask? Type where I met you at first. We'll see how cool he is.
In person?
Yeah. Yeah. So
you've met Serge in person.
Yeah. That was our first time. I did. Yeah. I'm like, how dare you? Yes. So, is it time?
Yeah. You want me to introduce our next section?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. We have Dale. Okay.
Yes. She's probably explaining that it's not Dale.
Okay. No, I thought it was Dale too. So thank you, Raquel. I got it. Yeah.
Raquel, now I feel stupid.
I'm all Dale. Like give. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Today I was at Miller Park. It was the baddest ass fucking lowrider show today.
Oh.
I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, my friend Uli has he used to have, I don't know if he has it now, an Impala, but they were really pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, yes.
What's funny is I was doing that today with Tilly. I forgot. Oh, because Michael said she's a baller, and I was all shot collar, and then Tilly was all da da da.
Yeah. See.
Trying to say shot collar.
Weren't we talking until we said yeah? She's like yeah.
Yeah, she totally. See? That's why I have to start actually watching what I'm saying because she's listening now and imitating me, and I'll realize, oh, I don't want you to say that when you can actually sound like you're saying words. So maybe I should stop saying that. Kids are little mirrors. So okay, moving on. We wanted to. I know that, and when we made the announcement for our show, we included some questions, and if you saw those or if you didn't, we'll go over them again tonight. But they were included in my newsletter that I sent out a couple weeks ago. And it was just sort of like, here's some journaling prompts. It was around the solstice, which some think of as like, a new beginning, just ways to reflect and think about the last year and going into the next year. So yeah, we were just going to ask some questions and hear some thoughts.
Well, sorry, Dale is.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Cuban slang pronounced dale for give it.
Dale.
Dale. Okay, so now are Raquel and Serge arguing? Is that what's happening?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. So let's not.
I'm trying to start some drama, but I'm
see. Uli's still rolling his 61. Yeah, nice. It's a really beautiful car that Uli has. Yeah, and then with Uli sitting in it, I mean, I don't want to
It's
get
even more beautiful.
It is. Lily's beautiful. And
You
so
guys
is this
having a
car.
bromance right now, huh?
Well, we tried, but we went on a trip, and it just we're good friends. You know what I mean?
That's
We're good
awesome.
friends. I've
Good
known Uli
friends
for
are
almost
very
30 years,
valuable.
I think. So yeah,
Oh, wow. Awesome.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So
Okay, so should we move on to our questions?
yeah. So Raquel said, "Ha
No.
ha ha," for trying to fight a game, a war. Yeah.
Trying to
Okay. So sorry.
insert.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't actually have the questions in front
I
of
I
me,
do
Ruben.
have them. Which one do you want?
Well,
Should I
actually,
just bring
I
them up?
wrote them out in my email to myself. So, uh, yeah, share whatever one you want to share first, whatever
Perfect.
you have in your docket, and anyone watching that wants to answer it, we would love to hear your answer, your experience of this question. Ooh, okay. What did you change your
2020.
mind about this year? And this is the year 2020. So looking back at the last year, what changed for you? Like, did you start off, for example, at one point in the year, I thought masks were stupid. I thought, well, we're not supposed to be wearing them. They told us not to. So that's like a silly example, but that's something most of us changed our mind about because then it was found that they do protect. And so that's like a small thing. This question isn't particularly interesting in my answers, but did you have any answers to this, Ruben? Did you have anything that, as you thought back on your year, you were like, yeah, this changed for me?
Yeah, I thought America was the was the greatest in any kind of war, and that we'd all get together as a collective hive, and that really blew blew that theory. I was like, and I was trying to be like gun ho. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I was telling people in Mexico, I'm like, no, America will we will get together, and we will, as it doesn't matter what we think, how far we're divided, we will get together and we will conquer this thing. And guess what?
Oh, you
We,
mean the pandemic? I didn't know if
yeah,
you meant
yeah.
the election or the pandemic.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean, I just meant like the collective thought of what I thought America was, right? As that we would
mm,
get together and come together when a time of need, and that was sadly
yeah,
changed my mind about it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So
yeah, yeah. That's a really devastating change of heart too, to
yeah,
go
yeah,
from thinking, because really, I think I, in other moments, I used to think America was like this really amazing country, and it is. I'm not trying to knock the freedoms that we have, but anyway, that it's really hard
yeah,
to find out that the things you believed aren't true, or
yeah.
that you can't rely
Or you
on.
try to pump something up, and it's like, oh,
Pump
sorry
something
about that.
up
Like America, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Serge said he meant in Cantina Alley, a bromance faux show. Yeah. So
is that virus?
apparently, I am hot with the dudes for bromances. So
Yeah,
I'm a
faux
definitely
show.
swipe right for bromances.
You're,
Chris
you're
said,
oh, Chris is here.
"Yeah, hey Chris."
Mm. Hi, Chris. Okay, so that's an interesting one. I used to think from home sounded great. My mind certainly changed on that. Interesting. I feel like we talked a little bit about that when Chris was here about the realities of feeling isolated, right? Especially because of what Chris does. He's a writer, and I imagine that, I don't write journalistically, if that's a word, but it's already a pretty solitary profession, and then doing it at home, completely. Yeah, and the speech writing and yeah. So that's a big one. I found
So,
that I
whoops.
mine isn't particularly, I guess, universal, which is why it's kind of like weird to share, but I found I changed my mind on some parenting topics that I went into parenting thinking I felt one way. And they're like really divisive choices that parents make about like how to feed your child, like sleep with your child or not sleep with your child. And um, yeah, I think if anything, I just learn over and over and over again. I think I will do in theory, in practice, often change as a parent. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a year for us to think about different things, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was a year for that. Okay, I'm ready to move on unless anybody else answer that. What depleted you the most in 2020? Ruben, what depleted you the most?
People,
In what sense?
people. Uh, really, honestly, it's well, can I say the president depleted me
Oh,
the most?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, just
all of
this.
us.
Yeah, and just, I mean, I'm not going to give him that much power, but yeah, I was just, I mean, I guess I was just tired of listening to him. right? Every day is something else. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
like rest 2 days, So,
Go
I mean,
eat some whole foods. Stop eating processed stuff that's making your brain crazy.
yeah. And after a while now, let it go and thing like that. But I think that I think I've hyper focused on that too. Like which is bad for me, you got to separate yourself from that too, because all it does is cause your own trauma to yourself. It doesn't do anything else to anybody but your own self, right? Because you're always angry about something, and I didn't need to give that much energy to that person too, and if it's just like an abstract person, because it is in a sense too, that was one of them. So
yeah,
and and just really, I really don't think that, really depleted me as much as is kind of that big major factor of energy. That's what it was.
What do you mean?
Like something that big, it took that much, right? So yeah.
I think that's a really good point, and it's interesting to this question. Sometimes the things that deplete us and nourish us can be the same, because for me it's people in both categories, because similarly I was depleted by getting really invested, and I have to learn this over and over again, so I don't even consider it like a lesson of this year. I've learned it and then I keep circling this topic, but remembering that it's not my job to change everyone's mind, that I don't, even people close to me, I think there's a line between standing silently while injustice is enacted, or, racism or inequality, and recognizing that there is a where it is just zapping you and you're not able to show up as like the person you want to be. And I think the new cycle definitely.
And you're right. So there's so much that happened this year, and I think it happened with everybody as a collective. But there's also a lot of change that happened. Also, too, we'll have to look back, but we're too traumatized right now to see the really powerful things that did change. Kamala's in the White House, so a woman got elected to the vice presidency, and I do believe she'll be the president someday. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. And Raquel has said she's a little bit ahead of us. And she says,
okay. Well, that means that she. Do what feels good. So that's like be leaning into what nourishes you. Is that the next one you have?
Yeah. I played the boom boom and then bam. The good stuff, right?
What I like that. I see the order of operations here.
Yeah.
And what nourished you through 2020? And again, this was for me people, like, even though, and again, going back to what depleted me, it was being cut off from a lot of friendships that maybe weren't progressed enough to make a lot of effort, like, to see each other, but were important to me, and I would have liked to see more. And things like this, the community that I've gotten just, from the show, from people I've met virtually, from pouring more like nourishment into friendships like mine with you, Ruben. We weren't really close last year, right?
Remember I hated you?
You hated me.
Yeah.
You were jealous of me. But
I was always jealous of you, so.
Recognizing that some friendships really blossomed, even though it was a,
Well, what's curious with us is, like, it's so funny because my Melissa was, I saw Melissa, blah, blah, blah. We came by, Tilly's drove by, we did a drive-by, right? Drive-by has a new meaning in the 80s, right?
It's not like,
yeah.
Like,
and it was like, hi, they love drive-bys now, right? The energy has changed from, but it was funny because I didn't, my brain could not wrap around the fact that I haven't seen you in years.
I know. Yeah. Right? Since 2017, I think.
Yeah. I'm like, it just didn't, she's like, no, Ruben, you haven't seen her. And like, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Physically, in the physical world. So, So let me go back to Chris real quick. So he said that anxiety depleted him this year, which I think is a lot for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I did want to, I did want to honor that space with Chris too.
I think that is probably the most common, and not to diminish it, but relatable depletion this year, whether it was pandemic anxiety, financial anxiety, just the anxiety of poor mental health when you don't get the nourishment of social interaction or community that you're used to So yeah, I appreciate that being brought up because I think a lot
Yeah.
of people can
And
relate.
and I think that, what's, you know, what nourished me too is the fact that everything slowed down in time. It allowed me to think about stuff in life, like things I've been, I think I talked to you about this, when I was sick. I was like, okay, I forgave myself this year.
Mm,
So I forgave myself, and not because I did anything bad. It's just that I had these, like, oh my god, that relationship was bad. I was a jerk, or what happened in that friendship. I never contacted them, or maybe I should do this. And I always constantly think about people, and for me, it's always like that. Like every day, I never really just think about myself, right? So every day I'm thinking about people and friendships and all this stuff that happened in my life, and and it's just like it just was annoying to me at some point. So when I was sick, I thought also I'm spiritually sick, and I did a lot of meditation. I did a lot of like Tibetan chants and all this stuff, and but I came to to a conclusion that I forgave my father, right? So why couldn't I forgive myself and just move on from that point? So that was, for me, this year was a year of growth in a different kind of way that I wouldn't ever have known. And not that I've nourished off the the negative energy that happened here, but I found something that was truly enlightening for me and very nourishing for me because the fact that time stopped and time slowed
mm,
down. I
yeah.
where I work hasn't been open for almost 8 months, 9 months, and when am I going to get this time ever to do that in my life again? Never, right? I mean, never. I will later in my life, but I'm saying like I've never had that happen. I think we all have time to think about stuff, and I noticed that with me doing I've always done these leave series, but this year people have really emoted to them because I think the only thing we can do is go outside and walk, right? And then now we're noticing more of nature nowadays, and they're like, "Oh, I noticed that," I'm like, "Yeah," and so that's what nourished me is actually the slowing down of time, and
Mm,
and I
yeah.
hope that as society, as that we went through all this pain and suffering last year, just to um, really think about what we learned from this time. That's I'm hoping. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So this was
Raquella, this is back
uh
on.
okay, probably what depleted her.
Yeah,
Anxiety, not sleeping, meditation apps helped me together. Having a great life coach made, oh, meditation apps together with having a great life coach made bearable. Wow, yeah, gosh, everyone should have a great life coach.
yeah. I mean, people. This is the first time everybody called me a meditation app, but I love it.
We're taking credit for both ends of that sentence.
Yeah, it's like Sonny and Cher, right? Or yeah,
Well, I'm so happy to hear that, Raquel. All jokes aside, I think that the reason I love coaching is that it allows us to just examine what we do have control of. And so often our thoughts aren't in our control, but our feelings about our thoughts, as in creating distance. And that's where meditation comes in, like not buying everything that runs through my brain. And yeah, so I love that you share that. And
mm.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, that was before. That was like, I think she was answering what you were saying and
So Sir
having.
said
Sorry,
a
there you go.
question I ask folks often these days is, what is something you're grateful for that likely would not have happened had it not been for our pandemic? Number one, being with my dad during his chemotherapy. Number two, Feelings Friday with Ruben, Melissa, and guests. Number three, driving reverse. I always picture you driving reverse whenever
I
you
was like,
say
damn,
that.
you're a good driver.
I know what you mean. We went the like opposite way on Route
Oh,
66
okay.
from LA to Chicago. I love that. Such a fantastic question. And thank you for including us in your gifts of the pandemic because, of course, we're grateful to be there. And similarly, I'm grateful for this as well. So if anybody feels like answering that, what is something you're grateful for that wouldn't have happened not for the pandemic? And that actually reminds me of what nourished me. I think I wrote me that we had my partner Michael was home for almost the whole year working. Like he wasn't home unemployed. Not that a million people weren't, but that it was just nice to have him around for my daughter. And we wouldn't have had that had it not been a pandemic. Doesn't mean I'm grateful for it, right? But oh my gosh, like yeah, I wouldn't have gotten to see nearly as much of him, which it's cool. Like we'll go for a walk almost every day, and when we walk up the driveway, Tilly goes, "Dada, Dada," he always has the window cracked, and he'll like look out the window and go, "Hi." And I was just thinking yesterday, or what, I guess the day before yesterday, were we off yesterday? Anyway, that is something that I'll totally miss, that he's home to peek out the window when we get done with our midday walk. And yeah, that's not normal for us. So does anybody else have an answer for that, Ruben? Or should we move on?
Have a what?
Oh, do you have an answer for that? An answer for what are you grateful for that maybe, if not for the pandemic, and it can also
Well,
fit into what nourished you?
well, it's funny because I was gonna play. Hold on, let me right here.
Mm. Never taking for granted our family and friends. I learned for this crazy time. Yeah, yeah. So true. Yeah.
So yeah, and I would hold on a second, make sure. There you go. From
Like,
I want to make sure everybody gets their. Yeah,
their correction. You're right.
that's right.
Actually, if I were
'Cause
doing that, I would probably want to make sure that people
you
knew
probably talk about
what
like
they were
15 minutes. So from, what does that mean? And then, how are you feeling about that?
from.
Yeah.
She's so
No,
poetic.
it's which is funny for me because it really opened up a door. And the funny part, I was going to play. Sorry, because this show was first called "Love in the Time of Corona," right?
Yeah.
And so I have all these. They're all on what do you call it, on YouTube. And so I was going to play part of it in the beginning, when we started. And I was like, sorry, Mescal gives me a little bit of burps. So,
He had the burpees.
yeah, come on. So it was, it was really just, I appreciate the fact that I was able to reach out to people, and people reached out. I think we had this conversation. I was having this conversation somehow when the show first happened, how dark it was, right? How dark the comments were. People were, there was suicide, there was like depression, hardcore stuff. And then looking at it now, from what people comment now, it's less, right? It's a less angst out there. And I think that's kind of what nourished me, was the fact that the ability to help people, I guess, in some way. And I don't mean like, we're curing everybody, but just have like a spot where people can come out and feel like they can take a moment in time and not worry about anything, or take a time and not think about stuff, because I'm always constantly listening to, when I go to bed, either some chants or some trying to heal myself, or whatever the case may be. I'm always trying to do something, and sometimes it's nice just to go emote out there and see if anybody out there needs anything to listen to, or to the point. So I that's what nourished me. What nourished me is like doing this show and doing, teaching everybody, and giving as much as I give, because right now, I'm used to giving stuff, and it's hard not to do that right now, and and seeing people like physically. So this show has nourished me through through this year, and I don't expect things bigger coming this year coming up. So that's kind of what I feel from this. I feel like very, as an artist, I open a portal that's going to be very beneficial for myself too, as wise too. And honor that self, that I can do something and get it out there, and feel like it's not tainted by any way. So.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I think that's a great thing to be nourished by.
So basically, I become a flower. Boom, boom, in front of everybody.
Wow, that's so amazing, Ruben. I'm gonna just stick that flower inside the barrel of a gun in a.
Whoa!
What?
That's an art piece right there. That is an art piece right there. So.
I'm just.
And
really...
and also I'm glad that we did this show. I'm glad that we're still doing the show. I know that's going to be
the biggest mistake of my life, honestly.
yeah. I hate everybody. So basically,
I'm so glad we did. I am so glad we did. It has served a different purpose at different points, but we've been doing that since like April, I think, or was it in March? Yeah.
And I think that's something that's a great achievement too, right? Because we did it every week for 8 months, right? 6, 7 months. Yeah. So, but and I think that's. I think you could see people are emoting to it. People come and different things too. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, awesome.
Makes me happy that I taught people. Makes me happy that that there's going to be different people doing stuff. Andrew's show he's an awesome dude, and the people that I taught for the mentor program were You know,
Ruben is a mentor for StreamYard or live streaming. I think people need to know
Yeah.
that before they understand what you're talking about.
yeah, Sunny, Abe, and Haggis, how you doing? And Lynn is the
Hi,
co-host
Lynn.
too. Now, she's the guest co-host too.
I like
Um,
it.
yeah. So and
Great.
Sunny and Abe and Noel and hey everybody, happy New Year to you guys. Yeah. So
Happy 2021.
yeah,
If you feel like answering a question, you're welcome to answer a previous one or the
yeah.
current one. What nourished you through 2020? We are just finishing up, but we'd love to hear
I know
if you
Lynn's
feel
gonna
like
say
answering,
what do you
being
call
on
it?
our show, having awesome art uh,
Collaboration
with
with
like-minded people.
yeah. See, and Andrew is the great joy hunt continues. So with that too, because Andrew's show is about the great joy hunt. What kind of what what brings you joy, especially of the moment too, right? And I think he does it every 10 at around 10ish o'clock in the morning now. So yeah, and people really and this is what I love about this whole forum is that you're really connecting with people. And they may be, stopping by. You can see it in the counter of how many people come and show up, but there's people sneaking by and just saying hi. We can't see it. We can feel it, and I think that for all of us, I think Andrew is and I think all of us here too in this thing are empaths, right? I think that we all feel each other's energy, even if it's just this, right? Even if it's just this moment in time, but I really do believe that, and that's why I think this really works for people. And you can come by and say hi, and you can stalk us for a little bit in a good way. So yeah, Lynn says happy
New
birthday.
Year,
I'm happy birthday.
Lynn.
Happy New Year. So
Happy birthday. We're all being birthed into the new year. It reminds
yeah,
me of like the New Year's cards where there's a little chubby little baby as the new year, and then the old
yeah,
year is like hobbling out because it's like the old elderly.
yeah. So
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'm gonna go back with Andrew because Andrew is the one that we showed each other both. I was talking about who showed me a
You
way
show me
to
mine, I'll show you
yeah.
yours. Wait, I
Yes,
did it backwards.
and I said
You show
who
me yours,
opened
I'll show
what
you
I say opened the pathway, yeah, and he opened the pathway to what I can do now and using this
awesome.
program Canva and all this stuff. But I was like, I'm not going to do it, blah blah. He's like, no, here, let me show you, and it worked great, and it really opened up. I'm not quite at that moment, but I know that I'm always ahead of myself, so I know that in the weeks coming that I'm going to be able to do something really cool, and and I'm excited about that. So
That's
thank you, Andrew,
awesome.
for that. Yeah, and
You're an
so
artist and someone just handed you a new medium to explore, which is such
yeah,
an exciting place to be.
and exploring and all that stuff too. So and Lynn, I think she got a new dog. So what's his name? Coleslaw. So she rescued Coleslaw. Yeah. And
Oh,
Coleslaw
coleslaw.
seems to have a bit of an attitude. I think she's just she's the princess of the whole thing now. She's a queen.
You better not
Um,
be making coleslaw mad right now.
no,
Talking.
Coleslaw. Yeah. So and then guess who's here?
Sarah. Oh, I'm still trying to get Persephone to sleep. Have I ever told you how much I love your daughter's name?
I was gonna say that too right now.
Such a beautiful name. We miss you. We were talking about you earlier. If you're still here, Zara, because she's probably gone trying to put her kid to sleep,
Yeah.
but how your mom was on tour as a backup dancer for John Denver or something dancing wise, because I saw that picture of you as a baby and you look just like your daughter. Anyway, we're getting out there. Should we move on to our next question, or do we have any more answers for? Oh,
Christmas is.
we have more answers. So, what was nourishing for Chris? Lynn's art show in West Sac was a really nourishing moment when I got to see some good homies during a time I was feeling especially isolated. Art plus friends equals the best. I love that
Yeah.
math problem. That's an awesome, nourishing thing. She
Zara
misses us
Yeah.
too. Just kidding.
And
She does have a wee bit of sass. Oh, we're talking about the dog. I thought we were
that's
talking about
Coleslaw.
Zara first.
Zara too. Yeah, Zara too.
Zara does too.
Yes. So yeah, see, everybody
Oh,
loves Zara too.
awesome.
And Lynn will be the co-host next week. No, she doesn't
Oh,
know it
nice.
yet. Yeah, so she doesn't know it yet, but
She's like, I
um,
am.
yeah, and we do a special not issue, but of adopted dogs. So because Lynn also volunteers at the Not the
Front
dog
Street?
park. Front Street, yes.
Dog park.
She's a dog. Yeah, she's a dog. With a
I volunteered
channeler.
with a fence at the dog park. I just hug all the dogs.
Yeah, she's hanging with the dogs. But yeah, so hopefully she'll do it next week. And
Oh my
you know,
gosh,
we
that's
do
awesome.
we show the animals that need to be adopted for that time.
Oh, that's
Um,
so great.
yeah,
I must
so
admit that because I watched your show last time, but I didn't see the whole thing. So
yeah, so that's that'll be. I think
awesome.
that's how we when we have we found that cat. Remember that?
Oh yeah, have we talked about that? That one of the
Yeah,
cats we put up a picture of has returned to its owner, which we don't know that we had a hand in that, but we're going to take credit for it.
we're gonna take
So
credit for it. Yeah.
we basically save lives and
See,
reconnect families. And you
see,
know those moving videos that you see of like animals being reunited with their
yeah.
owners? We do that.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I watched. Is it Dodo? Yeah, right. Dodo.
Oh, like that, the videos.
Yeah, when those dogs. Yeah, because I think it's just it's to me. What I love about them is that these animals have the roughest part. I mean, they're so bad, but then they become so loving and like it's so sweet to see that. You know, I'm like, I wish I could forgive everything like that. Right
I
within 3 weeks
know.
time.
I want to
Yeah,
be like
it took me a long ass
forgiving.
time. It took
Yeah.
me fucking
You're
30
still going
years, 40
in
years.
your
Yeah,
little phone.
yeah, yeah. Dad, why'd you do that? You know, instead of like, give me some food. You know, maybe pet me behind my ear, and I'll be good.
As you like approach a new owner. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah. So what nourished you through 2020? What was
I
like?
don't think haven't I answered this like repeatedly, Ruben?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just talking to everybody out there
Oh,
before we go.
okay.
Yeah. So
So yes,
because
anyone I thought I'm sorry, I'm so self-centered. I thought you were talking to me.
what
Um,
is it? You thought the song was about you? Is that right?
you're so vain. We're
Yeah.
gonna
So
get bleeped out 'cause I'm such a good singer. You
yeah. So
probably think this question's about you. Anyone who still wants to answer what nourished you through 2020? Oh,
there you go.
Heather said mail. Oh, mail, that's a understated, but totally true. Art exchanges, folks sharing openly what their highs and lows were in real time got me through. I felt less alone. And live streams. Is Heather up in Seattle?
No,
Is that
no, no.
oh, Heather.
Yeah, Heather's another wonderful artist too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome,
Sacramento
awesome.
artist. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Sacramento.
yeah.
I
So we
love those
got there.
answers. I also really love the idea of people sharing openly because as you say that, that has really got me through too. Sometimes I'll be struggling and even if I don't even say anything, just seeing someone else be honest about what they're going through.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because if you call me up, I think someone said if you want to know, like when people say, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Do you really want to know?" Like that's a
You
question all
really
the
want to know.
time. You know, it's
Yeah.
like then don't maybe we should change that question all the time. Like, "Hi, how you doing?" You know, because
What are you
I mean,
really doing?
there's times when I struggle too. A lot of times when I struggled, and I think we talked about this about anxieties and one good thing I've learned this year in my life was the language of emotions. So at least I have a repertoire of putting these words to what I feel, right?
Mm,
And also becoming friends with my anxiety and laughing sometimes about it because I'm anxious. I'm always anxious. Everybody's always anxious about something.
yeah.
And, anxiety, is one of those ones where, it does happen and we're every day. I don't know who's not anxious. That would be the best question. Like, who's not? And those people, like I always tell, I have a relative. I'm like, hey, how you doing? No matter what time, no matter who passed away, it's always good. I'm like, dude, you can't be always good sometimes. Like, just let it go. So,
Mm,
and I don't want to be like that too. I'm like, oh, everything's great because everything's not great all the time, right? We all have those
yeah.
moments in time. So, um,
Yeah.
but Zara says her daughter's antics.
Oh my gosh, I love
Yeah,
watching you and your daughter's adventures. I think I've said this, but I feel like you guys are storybook, like Persephone's life is going to be a
yeah.
movie someday.
Well, it's
Because they're
funny.
always
Yeah,
like jumping in puddles or making fun crafts or games.
and it's great cinematography too. By the way, all the trees and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So also other people's lives and pictures made me feel not alone. I love these answers because they're kind of a reminder to the beauty of the digital world and like how much connection can be found there. And when that became our only medium of connection, it's easy to get kind of like, Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh. So Serge learned how to make pozole in a crock pot. Ooh, nice. That nourishes me and invited guests too.
Well,
Hopefully not.
Looks like Chris has invited himself.
And Chris wants to come to Chicago.
Chris,
Chris,
drive all the way to Chicago. Yeah, yeah. Chris loves
reverse
Wasilla
Route
too.
66 it. You've
Yeah,
been quiet, Chris. What you doing over there,
I think Chris is
Mister?
overnourished for 2020 now. So 2021. So
Overstimulated, overnourished. Oh, loving my time with Danny.
yeah. How long is Danny here for? So, Ricella.
I'm with family.
Yeah,
Huge thing.
and that's how people
Anybody
are too.
else? What
Yeah.
nourished you through this year? What and through last year? I guess I have to keep saying that since we're
Hmm.
now in the next year.
Yeah. So, are you gonna discard everything from last year, or are you gonna keep some of it? That right?
Oh, yeah, always, always.
What are you gonna keep from this year that you learned?
Mm, so much. I think that my biggest lesson of this year, something that just came into focus, and I talk about it all the time now in my writing and probably even on here, but is the idea of a paradox, of holding two things at once, of great suffering and great gratitude, and having anxiety and also so many giggles with my daughter, and the ability for to hold two truths hand in hand, I
Yeah.
think. So even, and this kind of goes in line with the next question. So I'm kind of borrowing notes to myself
Yeah.
last year. But I'm gonna stay with that because we don't have to choose. We don't have to decide, well, I'm either grateful or I'm in my feelings. You can be both. You can be recognizing that you're really struggling and be really grateful for that redwood tree that you get to sit under while you cry. Or
Yeah.
you can have it all.
And then
Yeah.
Raquel said one more week. Who Danny's here for?
Oh,
She's visiting from London, I think, or England, of course.
yeah. So we're trying our best considering secret problems at home. Not so secret anymore. I'm just kidding. With Nana and her new husband. We're being as brave as we need a new home and also maybe a new career. I feel like you could do a lot of things, Zara.
Yeah.
And I don't know you that well, but you can parlay your creative zest into so many different directions. And
And
it's
then
one
yeah,
thing to do it out of need. It can be kind of scary to be like, I have to figure something out. But um, yeah, I think you could. Heather, multitudes kind of goes along with that. Yeah, that
yeah,
there's like layers upon layers of things that are happening in our lives. And yeah, what about you,
yeah.
Ruben? That's a good question. What are you going to take with you from last year?
You know, I hate to be that. Well, I don't hate to be that person, but I really, I grew a lot this year, and I learned a lot this year, and I think that's what it is. I've learned a lot about myself this year, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I've learned that I could help people without. Usually, I'm this goes out. Usually, like I'm able to uh, create art and give it to donate people, but I didn't have the money this year for it, right? Because of unemployment and all this stuff, and just trying to be very frugal with everything. So, but I've learned that many friends would help me out. Like to say that I just did a fundraiser for Cantina Alley, and they helped me out, and we just made $500 for I think it's Stanford Settlement. It's in Del Paso Boulevard, right? I mean, in the Del Paso area.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes me happy about that is that they matched what we sold, and we did it very quickly, but they matched the $250 that I sold a couple of pieces, right? People just bought them. And so they matched it for $500. But the best thing about this thing is that when I was a kid and I asked Belle, who was one of the owners of Cantina Alley, when we were both kids, we were poor, and we both received Christmas gifts from them, right? Because we couldn't afford Christmas. We're Mexicans, not that say, but my dad was an immigrant. He worked the fields, blah blah blah. Everything you can name, right? And so we couldn't afford Christmas gifts. And I remember as a kid getting someone coming to the house and delivering Christmas gifts for us, and I was so happy. I never, you just happy to get something, right? And so that
Mm-hmm.
always stuck with my life, and my life has always been about helping people as much as I can that help me. I would never forget them. So, but this year was one of those ones where it couldn't really do as much as I could. So that's why I continue with live streaming and stuff. I try to help people learn, try to teach people all this stuff, right? Because it's something I could do. But
Yeah.
it was very humbling and knowing that someone is going to receive some Christmas presents because we did that this year. It's kind of like a
That's
payback,
awesome.
you know, which I want to expand more. Of course, that's my always thing is like, okay, that we can do that. Let's just quadruple it next year, or you know what I mean? Like, let's figure that
Yeah.
out because I know that everybody here is is an awesome, beautiful person, and I know that they're all giving. Everybody here is giving. They give what they can give, and you know, you do what you can do. So that was for me was one of the things that I still figured out a way to give to people, and I think that's kind of what I want to be at, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I just want to tack on to that, talking about the generosity of others and how that changed your life. Lately, I have realized that I don't know if enough people know about this group, but they should. There are groups on Facebook, and I'm sure off of Facebook, but on Facebook called Buy Nothing groups. Like literally, I don't want to buy anything, buy nothing. So there's Buy Nothing Midtown. I'm in that one. There's Buy Nothing for Sacramento families. There are Buy Nothing groups everywhere. So, like, for example, I know we have folks in different parts of California or the States, but in these groups, you don't necessarily have to be poor, but all of us that would like to not wait, say,
yeah,
oh, I'm getting rid of all these children's books. So you can say, gifting children's books. And then there's someone who's been like, oh, I really want these children's books. I'll come pick them up from your porch. Or I was just, it's a way to find things that you might
yeah.
need and don't want to pay full price for. I just
Well,
found this like really expensive child carrier backpack. They're
yeah,
like $300 and I got it for free
and
from this Buy
everybody.
Nothing group.
And that's a beautiful. Everybody needs help, right? It doesn't matter, like you know. I mean, I just go from that because that's how we grew up, right? Um, and that's what I emote to. But everybody needs help at this time too, right? It doesn't matter, you know. And like you said, you know, you found something that you probably couldn't, you know. I mean, like it's everything's a luxury right now, right?
It's also
And
kind of extracting ourselves from the consumer culture of just buy, buy, buy.
yes,
When
and
it's
that's
like
it.
if someone's getting rid of something that they don't need and I need it, it doesn't matter what our income levels are. How beautiful is that? Take our like trade off the capitalist system and just say,
Yeah,
I'll give you this, you give me that. So everyone, if you're not in a buy nothing group and you either want to like downsize, a lot of people are doing that around New Year's where you're getting rid of like closet stuff, and we all have things that would be a treasure to someone else. And
yeah.
yeah,
Especially
can
like you said about consumerism too. Like, so I think Zara was talking about what you said earlier about too.
that she can do whatever the fuck
Yeah,
she wants because she's creative and
she is.
magical.
So
Yeah. Just a reminder, you can. Yeah.
yeah,
And again, I know how scary it can be when we don't feel like we have the choice, but yeah. So everyone, go join a Buy Nothing group. I'm like singing this from the rooftops lately, mostly because of
yeah,
my own. It feels so good to give stuff. Like for example, I was cleaning the other day and I found this is random, but I found like pregnancy tests I bought from when I was trying to get pregnant, and they're kind of expensive. And someone might be like in need of one that doesn't
yeah.
have $20 to go buy a pregnancy test. And sure enough, I put it up, and there's all these women who are like me. And it's just cool. It's cool to give. It's
But
cool to
no,
receive.
but you're right. I mean, and then that's what I'm saying. Like you're absolutely right. We all need that, right? We
A
all need
pregnancy.
that. Well, I mean, you know, I mean, but I'm saying like we all
Yeah.
need something that we, you know, that we could discard because I have like clothes. I'm like, what do I do with this stuff nowadays, right? Do I just
Yeah.
go and drop it off here, or what do I do? You know, maybe someone will want it, someone needs it, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the
And
perfect
people will do
time.
like drives for the homeless on these groups, like
Yeah,
coat drive. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. I'm so excited about this group. I'm like, yeah,
no,
everybody.
and I love that. I mean, like I said, I love the fact that you know that becomes a collective, that becomes a community, and
Yeah,
that's what we are. That's what we should be. You know, and
totally.
that's so. Want to read that?
People have been beautiful in doing this for us. I
Yeah,
cry seriously about what people have given unconditionally. So much love. That's amazing. And it's also cool that you're willing to accept it. And I say that because I think it can be really tempting, even when we really need stuff, to like, I guess it could be called pride. It could be called thinking you're inconveniencing people. But I think one of the biggest like breakthroughs for me was just allowing others to me. So I'm so glad that you have allowed that because it goes around. Like there's times you have been extremely generous and will be. And yeah, I like to put it in terms of gifting as opposed to buying nothing. Yeah, however you want to put it, I love it.
yeah.
And often that's how people will title it, like gifting this.
And yeah,
But
and Zara and I did two ballets, right? So she choreographed it. She did all this stuff, no charge. We donated our time. I did the music. We did segments. I did the music segments. All these artists got together and and did all this beautiful work. And Zara has actually helped out a lot of the community too,
oh, I'm sure
and
that's
more than
probably why
once.
people want to be so generous to her.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I love that.
and
I
so
do not love that.
and the thing too is like sometimes we need help, and it's okay to accept it. And then we'll give after we can, right? That's my always thing. Like that's why now I'm in the position to give what I can give, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I'll find a creative way to do that if I can, but I always will be doing that because I owe a lot to people who didn't know me and didn't know my family, right? Who didn't know
yeah.
anything about me, but were willing to give whatever they can give to help out somebody. And I think we're all like that too. It makes us feel connected. It makes us feel good to do that. It opens our heart. So,
Yeah. Can
yeah,
I just say too, I think we don't really do Christmas here. It was more of a Hanukkah thing, but
yeah,
we gave Tilly all hand-me-down gifts, but we just put them in bags and she got to open them and it was like so magical for her. And I guess I bring that up to once again say, like, often it's us that decides like, oh, we need to have new
yeah,
things, or I don't know. Anyway, I guess we should probably move on since we're getting towards the end of the show.
yeah. So let me get some praise here.
Oh, sorry, Ruben, you have to read
Raise
that
it
one.
up. Raise it up. That's why my new church of, so yes. So donate
Yeah.
$25,000 when you
You
can.
do a lot in the community. And so even though I know we're joking about it, you do a lot of generous time, and you're generous with your time and your art. And if anything, when I heard you say how much your art sold for, I just immediately thought, oh my gosh, your art should be priced way higher.
No, I know, but you know what? That's a funny part because I told them like, look, I can't. I'm not a good salesperson. I'm like, and if you ever go to a show, like, I'm like, do you love it? She's like, oh my god, this reminds me of blah blah blah. But I love it. I'm like, okay, well, you can have it for cheap. I mean, you can have it. Like, I'll give it to you. Or just give me this because for me, it's like the connection, right, with people. It's not really the price of.
I've heard that from people, that you just give your art to them. Someone
Yeah,
else
I do.
does
I'm like, well, you
like,
can have this, and here, take this too with it, But that's,
here's my
this
kidney
this year,
too.
I think I need, I'm gonna look for an art rep this year and let them do that. But there is a certain thing that goes with. I mean, I can't help it. I can't. I tried. I gave up. I give up now. To do that. So, and
You
we
can
have one
totally
more.
change that, but we'll talk about that later.
We got a yep. Yeah, a yep.
We got a hype
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what?
Okay.
I didn't put the other one down. So it's a you.
Our last question we've kind of covered a little bit, but it's kind of like you could give yourself a piece of advice walking into 2020. So a New Year's last year. It's January. Things are still like quote unquote normal, at least pandemic wise. Who knows what was happening in our own lives? But what would you say to yourself if you could hand that version of yourself a little note, or just give her or him some advice? So mine was kind of all over the place. I'll start just because I did think about this beforehand. But I think the biggest thing, and it's so trite, but it's true, is that I would have been like, hey, appreciate gathering with your friends in a living room. I just think about like a gathering I went to for Hanukkah last year, and it was a bunch of babies and couples I didn't know. And I was there with Tilly, and it was just so warm in this like house. And I had such a good time. It's not that I didn't appreciate it, but I didn't appreciate it in the way that I didn't know that for who knows how long I wouldn't be gathering with even my close friends, let alone people that I didn't know and their kids, and watching babies slobber all over each other, and like, passing kids so that we could load our plates with food and stuff that I haven't done and I probably won't do for a while. So something like that, I would like to, remind myself to, or just tell myself to appreciate. I couldn't have known.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more stuff, but I don't want to talk too much. So I would love to hear if you have an answer to this, Ruben, or anybody else watching.
Yes. I'm going to start telling men, dudes, my friends that are guys, that I love them.
That's what you would tell yourself last year?
Yes. Because
like,
now
hey,
that
you're going to start doing this.
Yes. Because now I realize, like, of course, guys have this way of not sharing emotion too, and I just miss like everybody. I miss all my friends. I miss my women friends too, but guys need a little bit more of a push into that realm, and they really do. Um, and I also would have like just cherish every moment that I had with everybody and not take advantage of, not just take everything for granted. So
Yeah.
every moment that interaction that I had, or like, no, I don't want to do that, just be lazy. I'm like, no, I don't want to meet you for coffee, or that's what I would have like.
I know.
Yeah.
I know
So
there were friends that I remember that me and someone that Ashley Marsh, were trying to get together to go get coffee.
yeah,
And then I got sick. I got sick right at the beginning of the pandemic. I'm still like, did I get COVID? But I got sick, and then the pandemic, and it's like we just never got coffee. And obviously there's alternative ways to do this, but yeah, those little,
but I
I
mean,
would have
yeah,
been like, make that really important.
yeah, and I realized like, I mean, fuck, I miss Mexico. I miss going down there. I miss the people. I missed, and then they're trying the hardest too. The whole world is trying the hardest too. But these are the things that, even though I want to be, like open to, there is. If I were to tell someone like, just notice the little things in life, like the little things of going to the store, I like going to the fucking going to the gas station and just grabbing a Snickers bar.
Just licking the door handle.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like
I
you
miss
realize
that.
that, and and so it is like things that you wouldn't even think about. Like, like I said, gas station, I'm like, I'm going to the gas station, this guy's walking up, I put my fucking I go back in my car. I'm like,
You're like,
ooh, put the bubble on, if I can what a Knight Rider, I'm like, close the shield, I was like,
totally.
instead of saying hey, because usually I'm like, hey, what's up, or something like that. It's like, no. So let's see what
High
Chris
fiving
says.
everybody. Oh,
Yeah,
go see your dad more often. Oh, I hear that. I
yeah,
think that's a very poignant reflection, Chris.
and yeah, and so, especially people who passed away during this time too, was
Yeah.
kind of like a uh just a rough time too. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I even have like these thoughts of my stepmom, and not I wanted some redemption from her before she passed away too, but I never got it, and I was like, maybe I should have just went and saw her and talked to her about this stuff too, you know.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
so I can see why people who didn't have issues with their stepmom, or the people who just love their parents, would just can see that happening too. So,
I think this gets back to actually
yeah,
I'll read Brad's comment.
yeah,
I miss my pals and impromptus, but I threw maybe more pod dinners than I had in 4 years.
yeah,
Okay. I like that you sort of cushion that with the things that you didn't have, maybe the things you did do because of this year. That's so true, right? The paradox of it.
yeah.
The things you lost, the things you gained.
And Brad's a very
Yeah.
social guy. He has, he had a very wonderful dog too, that I always remember. She was
Oh,
old, and but she was old. She was
she was really old.
no, she was a sweetheart, and I know dad, sorry, Brad, sorry,
Ruben's
I'm
had a
up
couple
everywhere.
too many sips of
No,
mezcal.
no, it's all my like DNA studying last night. I'm like, well, maybe we're related, so yeah,
Everybody's dad now.
yeah, so yeah,
I'm sorry.
see,
I'm just messing with you.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
I was just thinking as you talked about Brad's dog that even I thought it was kind of funny that you brought up Brad's dog. I think all of us that love our animals are moved. People acknowledge their presence,
yeah,
especially if they're gone, because it's like that, that dog was probably really important to him, and just
she
like my
was. I think she was a
animals
she.
were him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so, and the fact that I remember her was very. She made a little, what do you call it, an impact too.
Was it like a butt sniffing kind of impact?
Well, I don't want, yeah. So yeah, so
We're
I
about to
understood.
close the show. What
Yeah,
direction are we going to go with it?
yeah. So
So, does
yeah,
anybody else want to share if you could hand yourself a note at the beginning of 2020? So, last year, what would that note say? Do this more, do this less. I'll read a couple more of mine in case anyone hasn't answered. Um, don't worry so much about the baby's schedule. because I was just like wanting to get her sleeping. And so I was trying to get her to nap and kind of stressed about it. And now she sleeps great, and I don't get as many baby snuggles because she's bigger and she doesn't sleep on me anymore. And also, I think this is the hard thing about like regrets, because I guess what it is I regret, fretting so much about her schedule. But another thing I wrote is forgive yourself for being ambitious, because the reason I wanted her to sleep is because I had some fucking dreams and I wanted to work and I wanted to write and I wanted to bring things into the world, and I needed her to sleep. Like I needed a break. So even though part of me is like, oh, I wish her little baby body was still sleeping on mine and that was just so precious, I also have passion for the person I was this last year, which was someone with some goals that couldn't be accomplished with a baby on me all the time. And that's the push and pull, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris has something very, very profound to say too, by the way. What he should have wrote himself too.
I couldn't tell if this was which Chris this was, because I was like, I feel like that might make a difference.
Yeah,
but you know what's funny, Chris, is I wrote that in my first note too. Toilet paper, sanitizer. Obviously now those things have mellowed out, but there was a moment there where I was like, oh my God.
I would have bought astronaut pants. Therefore,
So you
I
could
wouldn't
go
need.
to the moon.
Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't need toilet paper. I just need hang out in it.
Now I
what I mean?
realize what you're saying. Astronaut pants, like a diaper. She still sleeps with me. I do want to write. It will happen eventually. That's what I didn't do, Zara. I didn't co-sleep. I thought I would. That was my big like change this year. And I went from co-sleeping to not. And I miss it. And I see you and your daughter in your pictures. I knew you did, just because it's like always right there. And I long for that. And I long for reading books and writing and all the things I do at night. It's just such a like, this is life, man. It's all these.
You do. What I love the fact when he said, I just want to read a book without being snatched from me.
Snack? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like,
oh, yeah. I was telling Ruben
I could see that too, I'm like, okay.
Well, if let's say that Tilly and I are just coexisting and I'll be in her playpen and she's at this point where she doesn't really even want me to play with her. She wants to do her thing. But if I decide to do something, if I decide to like sneakily get my phone out and like check an email or to get my own book and start reading it, she just comes over and rips it out of my hands. That's all she wants to do. Gosh, you guys, do you feel me?
That's life, man. Kids are like, they know they're more into the moment than we are, right?
I know. They're like, oh, you're not just staring at me, play with my toys. Rah! What has been good is feeding the deer. Totally against the law.
I'm gonna screenshot this right here. Yeah.
I know. Get that comment off the screen. Zara's gonna go to deer jail. Babies and their mamas. No. Yeah. Let's not get her arrested.
This is confession time. So
this is the end of the show. Yeah. What are you breaking the law doing right now?
And and we'd like to thank everybody for coming out. This is the first show of 2021, which sounds pretty good to me. Yeah.
2021.
2021 sounds good. So
there's a nice ring to it.
Yeah, and continue on what we're going. And so what are you excited about this year, Melissa? Because I know you wrote your book. And I think that's fucking awesome. And, who knows? I think that, for me, the book has meaning and it has people that need to read it, too. And, that's all I got to say.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And honestly, I agree. It's funny. I've always, shied away from... okay, what am I excited about? I feel like I could go on a total tangent. So thank you for saying that about my book.
Oh, Zara said bad mama. I don't know if she's talking about you or what.
She's talking about me.
Okay, that's the movie.
I think she's talking about herself feeding the deer. Allegedly. I don't know that.
That's
right. I am excited. Okay, so I chose a word, which I don't usually, but you know how people will say, do you have a word for the year? And it's sort of like a focus or an intention or something you want to keep coming back to. And my word is sacred. And that word means basically making my life sacred, even as it's ordinary, even as it's imperfect, recognizing, we've talked about this on the show, that things right now that hold very little significance to me, like the crumpled book on the floor that my daughter keeps tearing apart, or I don't know, just looking around. These are things that one day will be so sacred to me because they'll belong in the past. And So what I want to do going forward as someone that has always struggled with being present is I'm excited about lots of goals that I have, but mostly I'm really wanting to just make each moment and each day sacred and
Yeah.
forgive myself when I get excited about the future and start living for tomorrow, because inevitably that happens too. So what are you excited about, Ruben, for this coming year?
I'm excited about, well, I'm excited what everybody's excited about, right? Is that there is a presence that will be looking forward and a presence that has empathy. I realize that empathy is the key to everything, because if we talk to people and we open ourselves and we listen to people, we can find out what that is too, right? Even if they're on the other side and we talk about it, but we all have the same sufferings. We all have the same things. We're going to get sick. We're going to die. We're going to live, through this whole thing. And I discovered. I just think that, we all have this innate ability to be empathetic to everybody else. If we can open up everybody's heart, then I think that we can, move forward into this. And I believe, and from what I've heard too, and just talking, that we have someone in the White House that is empathetic to suffering of people and to what we're going through right now. So, it might not be the one that you voted for, it might be a person, but I do believe that it will be empathy. And once we get the vaccine, everything else goes. But that way of talking to people and just understanding everybody will go a long way. And I'm excited about that. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that we can move forward into that mode too, because I think that we swung to the left, to the right so far away that, we need to find that middle road again where we can all be, at least take care of this issue. We can talk about other stuff later on, but I just think that, like I said, once, a month will go by after January 20th, that people will realize what an empathetic person means to having in as a leader too,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I don't want,
I'm excited about that too.
What's that?
Definitely. I'm also excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I told someone, like, it's been so long since we've seen someone smile in the White House. It's been so long since we've seen someone hug someone in the White House, and just seeing that was pretty amazing to me.
Yeah.
I don't care about politics. I'm like, just the fact that someone cared about somebody, it was amazing to me, and I think that'll transfer. So,
Yeah.
and a vaccine. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Power reopening, a vaccine.
Brad,
Yeah.
with the texture kind of said, Brad loves the texture on salad. I don't know why, but yeah. So he will always say that. So, but and loving everybody too, myself and everybody that comes out here, and I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you. That was my 2020. One of my highlights, doing the show, not meeting you,
Me too.
continuing.
Yes.
As an
Creating
energy source. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I agree. Well, thank you for everybody that joined us and for interacting tonight and sharing how you're feeling and some reflections. This was really fun, because hearing what everyone else was either nourished by, pleaded by, or, just our reflections, it definitely opened my mind to others' experiences and my own experience, which is the joy of community and the reason we do this show. So I can't wait to see you guys again. Ruben and I will agree on my next appearance within a month.
Accordingly, I am the Kelly Ripa of hosts, so I have to
there's a
tone myself
revolving
down. Door. Yeah, no one can handle me. I guess I have demands that are crazy, right?
No, he's
peanuts.
So
I love peanuts.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
You're not.
Yeah,
you're not.
No,
I love
but
you here, and I love you guys.
And everybody, out there, we if you just come out and say we love you, we do love you, and Happy New Year and much love. And remember, Chinese New Year, if you didn't get all your intentions and everything, Chinese New Year is coming up too. So I always have the backup.
Always a new day the next day too.
Yeah, so. Chinese New Year is always my backup for of setting intentions, right? So.
Yeah, we have an hour and a half left of this, an hour and 10, 16 minutes. So if there's anything you want to do every day of this year, you still have time to do it.
Right. There you go. Chris is always looking forward to this.
Yay. Well, we are always so happy to see you. And you too, Raquella. Everyone that joined us tonight, thank you so much.
And Raquella, I need you to text me your address. because I have a gift for you for your homecoming gift. So
Aww.
text me your address, and he will get that. So, anyways, and tell Danny said hi. So yeah, and everybody have a good night, and we love you and all the great stuff. You're
Have a
feeling
good
the
night,
love.
everybody. Bye,
All right.
Ruben.
And we're out. I'll see you in a month.
It's
What?
been real.
Bye.
What?
Bye.
Are we
All
playing
right.
a
Good
song
night,
or anything?
everybody.
All right,
Yeah. And this is our outro.
Maybe I've seen my dad, and I'm alive to kill the time. What triggers the idea of la da da da? Well, I've lived this before, and why must we experience it? My curiosity kills cities of cats, and that's that.